Oh, we're live right now, but
Oh, well, hello everyone. Welcome to This Podcast Does Not Have a Name. I'm Chris the Bag.
I'm Shawn, and this is our episode 2 for September 28th, 2021.
Yes, it is. So, I don't know what you've been up to this week. I haven't really done much. Part of what I've got to say also has tying to a little bit of news. So, if you wanted to go first with something you've done.
Honestly, not very much. Like I said, I was pretty busy just enjoying myself. The Diablo 2 came out, so I've been playing that quite frequently.
Mm, has it
Uh,
been good?
I
I
mean,
heard an issue where characters may or may not be locked or disappearing on screens.
it happened to me.
Ooh.
Blizzard's a indie company, so when they launched, it was good for the first 15 or 20
Sorry?
minutes.
Oh, when they they're an indie
I,
company.
I'm being very sarcastic. Hang on. Let me finish. You'll see where I'm going with this. They're an indie
All right.
company, so like, and the first 20 minutes was fine, but then for the next 2 hours after that, the servers were down, and I lost like it wasn't a big deal. I lost like 6 or 7 levels on a sorceress, and I had
Hmm.
to remake her because when the servers were brought back up, she was like level 1. So
I guess like at early levels, I assume you're early-ish levels, so it's not that hard to get back a bunch of levels because those early levels are real easy to get.
mhm.
But it still sucks losing a bit of progress if you put that much time into. It's not a killer like what happened with me and what was that, Dead Island? Where I would play the game and then it would make me lose like 2 or 3 hours of progress because it would just revert back to a auto save like near the beginning of the game, and then it just like killed all it just killed it for me. Sorry, I was trying to think of a different way to say that. It just didn't. I just didn't feel like continuing the game after that. I did try playing with you as well,
Mhm.
but that game, I don't know. I had decent hopes for that one, and they just all desire for it kind of died with that, especially that first bit there. Did you ever end up finishing that one? I don't remember if you
Dead
did.
Dead Island? No, I
Yes.
only I only ever played with you. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I seen what happens when you get to some of the later parts of the game world, and I don't know if I like what happens. I think it's in the third area, or is it the city level? Lots of sewers. I'm like, oh, great, we get to go to the sewers again.
So yeah,
I
not
mean,
not. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I'm pretty much done
Okay.
rambling about that.
So yeah, that's I mean, I haven't really been doing that much, just been doing the whole Twitch thing as usual. Yeah, that's about it, honestly. Nothing new with me.
Did
Nothing
you
new with me at all.
finally get the last summon? That I saw, I jumped, seen you
Oh
kind of
my
grinding that
God.
out to the other.
Yeah, that's kind of a sore point. I streamed yesterday morning, and yeah, it was a 7.5 hour stream. I didn't actually get one of the two summons I needed.
Wow.
It's a 0.4% drop rate, and I didn't get anything that stream. So I'm gonna go back at it tomorrow morning. So
Well, here's hoping you get it, because that's how many streams now that you've been grinding like 2 or 3 summons and you still haven't gotten them.
mhm.
Such bad luck in getting them. Oh,
Yeah,
that sucks.
um, bit of a loser not having done much aside from the whole Twitch thing and gaming thing. But yeah, that's uh that's all I've been up to this week. Well, the important bits at least. How about you, Chris? What have you been up to?
Uh, Other than my usual, I've almost done QQ Sentai Go-Go 5. I'm in the last 2 episodes of the series. We're in the final arc, the big fight between the Grand Witch. I don't remember her how to say her name, but we'll just call her the Grand Witch. She, I think this is so far my favorite ending to any of the Japanese Sentai series. I think they've got some decent characters in this, and it actually feels, at least to me, like everything's coming to a good head. There's been a couple that have been pretty decent compared to this, but I think this one so far is one of my favorite endings. They're not my favorite Rangers, not my favorite bad guys, but just everything together feels really good to me.
Nice. So anything
So,
else, or because you said you
and
had something related to some news?
kinda, yes. So I've been playing not Stardew Valley, Story of Seasons, The Pioneers of Olive Town. And I've been playing that every morning and not going to bed. So I've been tired because as I play through that game and finish a day, I go, I got time for one more day. I could do one more day. But the reason why I've been playing that is because I bought, it was about $6 Canadian, I think. The not Capcom, Castlevania collection, the classic collection. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go play some Castlevania. And then I look at the game that's already loaded up in my Switch and go, oh, I'll just play some more of this then. But reason why the Castlevania one is I guess kind of important is this week they just dropped the Castlevania Advance collection.
I saw that.
I believe it has the 4 Castlevania Advance games. I believe that's why they call it Advance, or maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, they've got that collection out. I think it was 15 or $25. Sorry, I don't have the link open at the very moment. But I know it's on Steam, it's on Switch, and I believe it's going to be on the other 2 consoles as well, but I don't know for sure. I don't really use the PS4 or Xbox. But yeah, the last collection was on sale, and I've had that on my wish list for a while. So I picked it up, and eventually I'll pick up the other one as well. And hopefully they continue kind of re-releasing these old games. I don't know if they're ever going to do the DS games or not. I don't think that would be a very hard thing to do, but who knows? And that's pretty much it. Just watching some Super Sentai and playing more of that instead of playing the game I just bought that I wanted to play. So, but I just made it into finally did my first month in the game because I put the game down for a bit. All the DLC's out for Story of Seasons. And what's weird is I can now start planting and growing what do you call it, pumpkins in summer, but you can't plant and harvest them in fall. I find that very weird.
That's weird. That's kind of
Yeah,
that's like a
it's
seasonal fall thing, isn't it?
it
Let's.
it seems like that. I
Hmm.
do believe like you sell them in summer or something like that, and then they take quite a while to grow. And you start harvesting them in September and October, but at least here where we're from. But yeah, they for some reason in this game it's like a summer seasonal thing, and that's it. Like, oh, that's really weird. So no pumpkins for Halloween.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
But yeah, but no, I've been just playing that and losing sleep over it.
Well, now that you mentioned that, yeah, I for my stream I just got an Elgato. So for this coming month for October, I'm gonna be doing a lot of spooky games, hopefully, or not so much spooky games, but more so thematically like on point for Halloween. So like Bloodstained, maybe some Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm gonna be playing some Hollow Knight for the first time ever, so that'll be pretty fun.
You get an Elgato.
I just got it a few hours ago actually.
Mind if I ask what version?
It's the USB 3.0 one. I think it's the latest one. I'm pretty sure. It's still in the Amazon package. I haven't even opened it up
Oh,
yet.
okay. You have to link me which one you got.
Yeah, I'll show you afterwards. But basically, I can check right now actually if I go.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I've got which I think mine's Elgato, but it's like the HD 60, so it's quite old, I think. But I don't really use it too often. I mostly use mine for like PSP and Switch. Just know you'll have to change up your settings. There is a delay when going from the Elgato to your PC and that. So you have to put a delay on your camera and uh, microphone. I don't remember the exact delay, but
so
I could tell you later.
yeah, to answer your question, it's the Elgato HD60S.
Oh, you got the slight upgrade to mine.
Yes.
Nice.
Apparently this is the best one on the market. Well, for Elgato specifically, it's the best one from my understanding as of right now. So
Don't know about best, except I do believe it's good for its price. I don't know about best. I haven't really looked at them for a while, but that one was out. It's been out for quite a while. So, I mean, people must like it if it's still on the market. I don't see them keeping something on the market if it's not gonna, if people don't like it, if it's not doing well. So,
mhm.
but yeah, that should do your purposes. You're not really gonna be doing 4K 60 gaming. So,
I think it can actually handle that. That's what I just closed the web page, but I had to actually.
oh, if it does, that's news to me. Wow. Okay.
I'll let you know just in a couple seconds. Give me a quick sec here. Um, it says no, that's not what I want to do. Oh no. You're right. It's only 1080 60. You're right. It can't do
Okay.
4K.
Yeah. That's what I thought. But it should serve your purposes. I like to mine just some issues here and there, but that's mostly with like OBS or slabs or XSplit going. I don't know what this is. So, and
Yeah,
having to resize everything.
yeah. Well, I'll experiment with it tomorrow, so I'm pretty hyped about that one actually. But to kind of go back to what you're asking, yeah, I need some more of those rare item drops, and oh my god, it's a bitch. Like, so the reason why I'm doing this on stream as opposed to off stream is because I kind of committed to the whole 100% on stream for every Final Fantasy game in the mainline series. So yeah, I'm playing through the Pixel Remastered of number 4 right now, and the last achievement I need for the last 100% is basically just getting every one of Rydia's rare summon drops from the monsters, of which there are 4. They all have the same drop rate of 0.4%, but I killed the birds, like 2,000 birds according to the bestiary, until it dropped. And on average,
Nothing.
yeah, well, I got it after like the after 2000 at some point, but if you do the math, I think, trying to remember what the math is. I think it's if you kill 400, I think on average you should have at least one drop. I think that's how it works, right?
Let's see.
Is it 400? It's either 400 or a little below that. Um, yeah, I'd have to do the math in my head again, but basically I got screwed over quite a few times already. So yeah, that's all I've been up to, really.
Well, with that out of the way, do you want to do a little bit of newsy stuff? I guess
Yes.
the big one probably would be, at least for something fun, would be the Nintendo Direct that just dropped like this week, I believe.
Hmm.
Lots of good stuff in there. One that I'm really excited for. So we've got, some updates for what were they now? Well, sorry, I had it right in my head and now it's gone. Well, Animal Crossing updates and a few other stuff like new games dropping. Was it new ActRaiser game?
Oh,
That's going to
really?
be very interesting.
Oh,
Yes,
wow. I
yes.
missed that.
And it
Okay.
looks like it's going to be it's going to be like an upgrade, or not an upgrade, but like a proper continuation from the last one, where you've got the city building stuff and then the 2D side scrolling. Looks good so far. I saw a bit of the trailer. I didn't watch the full thing. I just watched the first little bit and went, "Oh, that looks like ActRaiser." That looks good.
That's pretty good. I mean, there was an ActRaiser 2 for the Super Nintendo as well, but then it skipped out on the city portion
Yeah,
uh
this one's not.
part. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad it went back to its roots. So that's pretty cool.
And if you like Undertale and Deltarune, the second chapter is dropped, and I do believe that they're both on Switch or coming to Switch right away for at least for Deltarune, both chapters.
Yeah, that's well, in terms of Nintendo it's new, but I know Deltarune Chapter 2 dropped for free last week for PC.
Yeah, yeah.
So we forgot to mention that on our last episode. We just both didn't think about it. But yeah, Deltarune episodes 1 and 2. He just released 2. I think one came out like a couple years ago, so he's taking his time. But Toby said Deltarune, I believe he said would have 5 episodes, and he
I
said
thought he said seven.
oh, well,
I
I
think he changed. I think he changed it now to seven.
I thought he changed it to 5 because when he released episode 2 for free, he said originally only episode 1 was supposed to be free, but he made episode 2 free as well because of the whole pandemic thing and people having to stay indoors. And he said parts 3, 4, and 5 he'll charge for definitely though. So
Okay, I think he.
that's that's
Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say that's what I think is what he
Yeah,
said.
I I thought I had heard seven could be five, but doesn't he have like a small team now working with him on it as well, so we could get them out maybe a little bit faster? I could be wrong on
That's
that.
I have no idea. That's actually a good question.
But yeah, that is supposed to drop. Or is supposed to drop or has already dropped. I haven't played Undertale at all
Oh
yet.
my
I'm pretty
God,
sure I own it.
Chris, you have to. I've told you to play this like years ago, and you're
Yep.
like, yeah, I'll get it eventually. I'm like, oh my God, it's
Yeah, I haven't played it
it's not a
yet.
long game, and I know you like Earthbound, and Toby Fox has a lot of inspiration from Earthbound because that's where he started. He started
Yeah,
on the mod
I
scene with Earthbound hacks. So
I liked what I seen in the game. I really like the music and the characters, but I really want to play through it so I have my own experience instead of just watching people.
for
Even though I
sure.
know pretty much what happens, it's a little different when you're playing it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I can't wait. I want to eventually get to playing those.
Just to let you know,
Oh, go on.
the ETB, the estimated time to beat for Undertale, is 7 hours only for
Is
the
that
for
for
just the main story, not anything.
not like pacifist or
No, it's just it. Like if you do pacifist, there's more story basically.
right? So just if you were to go through the game blind, just going through the way you normally would, it's roughly 7, 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, technically it said 6.5. So
Okay. That's not too bad for one run, but you gotta do a few of them. At least at the very least, if I don't do the evil route, I'll definitely have to do the pacifist one because that's one that has the most content, I think, in terms of like definitely character
yeah,
development and
yeah.
stuff. So
I only did run one run myself as a pacifist, like blind, but I made sure I didn't kill anything. That was because I knew that there was some extra, like the real story continues only in the pacifist. So yeah, even if you kill a single monster, you cannot get the pacifist. So
yeah, I'll have to play through that. Other games that they'll be dropping, or maybe this is an update. I don't know if this game is originally on Switch, but Disco Elysium Final Cut is coming to Switch.
it's also coming to other consoles and I think PC too.
PC should already be out. I
Yeah,
think it dropped a while ago on PC at least. But yeah, that's a really, really, really good game. I haven't put that much time into it, like a very small amount, but the Final Cut version adds all the voice acting into the game. So now you don't have to read thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue. But apparently the voice acting is really good, and it's just like, sorry, it's really good, and it's like one of the top games of a lot of people's like favorite games of the year list when the game dropped originally. So I'm glad to see that it's still coming out, and or that's coming out on more things, and how much love this game has gotten. It looks really good.
I still have to play through it myself, so I know nothing about it. I've been avoiding spoilers, so it's definitely on my to playlist at some point.
Yeah, I think definitely check out. It is a long play, but it should help shorten it up a little bit with the voice acting added in. But it's good. They've also shown off the creators of crap. What's it called? I'm sorry, not the creators of crap.
Wow.
Sorry, the Nintendo Switch game. They're doing Dragon Quest 3, or the director is.
Oh,
Uh,
Octopath?
the creators of Octopath have announced that the new game Triangle Strategy is indeed called Triangle Strategy. It's a strategy game, done in the same art style of Octopath, so that kind of 3D, 2D looking kind of world map. So think of something like not Breath of Fire, Final Fantasy Tactics, or more Fire Emblem, I guess would be better. I believe they're calling it Triangle Strategy because you've got like a triangle of like, this beats this, which beats this,
Like rock, paper, scissors?
yeah, basically. And people, I know when the first launched, Octopath, people were like, that's a stupid name. What would you call it that? You've got to change the name. And they refused to because they just stuck with that name. And then when this one dropped as a teaser saying that it may not be called Triangle Strategy, people just went, just call it that. It makes sense with the rest of your games that you've made.
Hmm.
It's a very simple name and it tells people what it is. It looks good. I'm more than likely going to pick this one up right away as well.
Oh, nice.
So that will be a good one.
So what else did Nintendo Direct have,
What else?
if anything?
Uh, Chocobo Racing coming to Switch. There's
Um,
a very Mario Kart looking kart racer coming out based on the Chocobo license from the Final Fantasy series. I don't know how many Final Fantasy characters you'll see in the game, but from what I read in the description, it almost sounded like it was Chocobo Dungeon and Chocobo characters, like from the Chocobo kind of spin-off series. Could be wrong. I'm sure there'll be cameos from the mainline series as well, but it looks cute. It looks like Mario Kart. Looks like it'll be fun. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but we'll see if anyone else I know who has a Switch will pick it up and if we'll play. So
I hope it's not a full price game, but even if it is, I remember back in the day on the PlayStation 1 era, I could be wrong. I thought didn't like wasn't there like a Chocobo kart racing game on the PlayStation 1? Do you remember that, Chris?
I believe there was. I know there was definitely the Chocobo Dungeon games, and I want to say there was a Chocobo Racing game, but I don't remember the exact name. It was probably just called Chocobo Racing.
I think so. So when you said that, that's the first thing that sparked in my head. I'm like, is that like kind of like a remake or like a remaster or like some sort of like a reimagination of the game? And they're just kind of
Yeah, I think they're just doing a new version. And it looks a lot like Mario Kart. Like I would have almost thought that this was just this reskin of Mario Kart. You know, like a really good a really good hack of it.
yeah, releasing it on the Switch, the Mario Kart Home is not the smartest move. You should probably spread your resources out a little bit, you know, like
I I hope to see it on other platforms. Like it's gotta come to Sony. I hope, at the very least. Uh, I don't know if it is or not, but the Switch could use more racing games. They don't have a lot. Like they're not putting out an F-Zero or a Wave Race. So Chocobo Racing, here's your alternative, even if it is Mario Kart.
mhm.
Yoko Taro is making another game for Square Enix alongside of the last two I mentioned. At least I believe Triangle Strategy is under Square. I could be wrong, but Yoko Taro's making a card game RPG
Okay. So
called I some Tale of Dragon Isle. Is that what it was? Secrets of a Dragon's Isle.
hmm. So
I think
card
I said that wrong. Sorry.
card battle RPG, something like Slay the Spire or something else?
I didn't quite understand it when I was watching. Like they go through, there's those bits of cinematic, and then telling a story through cards, and then they show a bit of the card game, and I don't know. Like you go around the world map, and it looks like cards. You go move your character along cards, and then more cards are revealed on the map to show you the world. And I don't think it's Slay the Spire. I think it's more like a proper card game. Like you've got your cards on one side, they've got their cards on their side, and you pick and choose what attacks what, or I believe, but I'm sure there's lots of strategy. They put out like a 1.5 minute trailer. And it shows a very little, like about half of that maybe is the card game. So I don't understand what's going on in the card game yet. Looks interesting, but it being like the creative director is Yoko Taro. I wonder how. I wonder if the story, like, how well the story is going to be, or how weird it will be, because he's one that does Near.
Right.
And so it could be pretty bonkers in terms of story. It could be quite deep. I don't think we're going to get a card game story that's going to make you cry,
No.
but maybe this could be the first,
Or that makes it delete the save data once you pass the game
or that.
or beat the game, whatever your preference is. But yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. Like probably not my cup of tea, but I'm still interested to see how that turns out.
I am very interested to see how the game will turn out. I don't know if I'll pick it up either, but it depends on how much more the card game comes up. Like I really want to see how this card game works and whether or not I drive with it. So, and another kind of party game along with like Chocobo, they're making a new Mario Party. Yes, the new Mario Party Superstars.
So, oh, they stopped numbering them at this point. Are they on like Mario Party like 9 or 10 or I've lost track
I
honestly.
believe it would be like 11 or 12.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a
Maybe
lot of
modes.
Mario parties.
I don't know if there are other Mario parties with a specific sub name, but yeah, the Mario Party Superstars might be the first one that has a sub name. This is the second one that is coming out on Switch though. And I don't think the other one is too old, like maybe 1 or 2 years old. So I found that weird that they're putting out another one so it to me so early. I don't know. As far as I know, people like the last one. This one apparently boasts, I think, over 100 mini games. I think they span from new to stuff from all the old games. So it looks like Mario Party. I didn't see anything in there that looked too weird. Like I don't think that you're gonna have a group battle mode where you're like all inside a team, not group battle, where you're a group movement kind of Mario Party system where you're all inside of a teacup, like they did with Mario Party that 7 or 8. I didn't like it. I played a little bit of it and said I didn't like, and I just dropped out right away from it. Like if you've ever seen it, Shawn, it's a weird Mario Party where everyone is inside of one cart and go along the map and you're competing that way, but you're not really competing because you're all moving along the same path at the same time. So you're not really screwing each other over with your traps and you're not really, helping out other people with buffs and stuff. It's just you going along this track and hoping you get more stars and coins than everyone else. It was a weird mode. Not my fave.
I've never played it. I've only ever played Mario Party 1, which is my
Oh
favorite.
wow.
I I love the original one for N64. I think
Mm,
all the rest are not as good, to be honest, as Mario Party 1. I've seen the
Fair
new
enough.
ones and like they just don't vibe with me. I don't like how the some of the mechanics, I think they kind of ruin the fun of the game compared to the first game.
Mm, fair enough. I mean, they gotta change it up here and there with new mechanics and new games, yada yada, right? Some stuff to enhance what the new consoles can do, like motion controls and gyro. I understand why. I don't really buy them because I don't have friends. I don't play games with people.
You don't have friends.
But like I still enjoy, like I mostly watch people play Mario Party because I find that more enjoyable, especially with people who are very expressive with their emotions and set out to specifically target people. It's when someone dinks you around enough and you start targeting them instead of
Yes.
like focusing on winning the game. I love watching stuff like that. But yeah, new Mario Party, hooray! Is it too soon from the last one? I don't know. I'm sure people will still buy it anyway. It should be good. And I did want to talk about finally the game I've been waiting to be announced. It's been over 1,300 days since the last bit of news for this game dropped from the creators at Platinum. But Bayo 3 has finally got a trailer out and it looks really good. I can't wait to play it.
It's
It looks really
sorry,
good.
which game?
Bayo 3, Bayonetta,
Bale, oh, Bayonetta. Okay.
Bayonetta 3.
I never heard of what this Bale 3. I'm like, what's a
No,
Bale
Bayo.
3? Bayo. Okay. So Bayonetta, right. Okay.
Yes. If
So
you haven't seen the trailer or have any interest in the kind of Bayonetta games or like DMC games, it's
mhm.
more Bayonetta. They've definitely changed her style up. People have noticed that.
Uh-oh. Looks like something happened to Discord. Not sure quite what. Oh, that's not good. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I think you can.
Hello?
Hello. So my Discord just like auto updated.
Weird. I've had
So
issues with Discord like the last couple of days where it's just been disconnected me.
So apologies for that. If you want to keep talking, Chris, I'm gonna like the stream never went down, but there was some sort of hiccup there. Not with my connection, but with Discord itself. It just kind of did its own thing.
Yeah.
So
You like dropped out of the call and wow, okay. But yeah, I was saying that they've uh changed a bit of her designs and how some of her moves work or physically look. There we go. I can see you again. And specifically with one of her moves, when she does her big moves, like someone's like the big astral dragon or whatever, I don't remember what it's called. In the old games, her I guess the hair that's covering her body would mostly get removed to create this portal or the dragon. And in this game, it's not doing that. And people are thinking maybe this is a different Bayonetta. Because I believe at the end of one of them, spoilers, small spoilers, I think you see a younger Bayonetta at the end of one of the other games. I haven't beaten any of them, so I don't know which one. And this is what I've heard. So I haven't gotten to those parts. I've stayed away from mostly big spoilers of the games until I've gotten to those points. But it looks like a Platinum game. It looks like Bayonetta. I'm so glad that they finally announced it after over 1,300 days. I have no news.
I remember the second game only came out on a Nintendo console, and that was it, right? Even though the first game was out on pretty much everything else, and now
Yes.
it seems like it's locked on Nintendo, which is kind of strange to me. I'll be
Uh,
honest.
yes and no. So was it Sega or whoever published the first game? The first game didn't sell that well, or at least not well enough for them, so they didn't want to publish the game anymore. And Nintendo said, "So you want to get like a game made, eh? Then she's gonna be on our console." And
Makes
that
sense.
kind of, in a way, started the relationship between Platinum and Nintendo.
Hmm.
I think is the first or second thing they've done together. But yeah, since then, like it was originally on the Wii U, Bayo 2 that was, and they ported Bayo 1 to the Wii U as well. I've got that collection. That's what I bought my Wii U for, was to play Bayonetta. And yeah, since then she's been, I guess, in Smash Brothers, and now Bayo 3 has finally been not announced, but the proper trailer's been released, and I believe they had a working date for sometime next year. So hopefully it does come out. No big issues for it because they announced it originally, but had nothing really to say about it. And then the creator's like, because it was taking forever for any more news of the game to drop. And the creator came out and said, just pretend I didn't announce it. We're still working on it, but pretend I didn't announce it. I'm pulling back the announcement.
Hmm.
This never happened. Because people in every interview would say, "So when's Bayonetta 3?" And you see it in his face every time someone would ask him that. He would just get more sad. Like, stop asking about Bayonetta 3. We're working on it. So I'm really glad it's been announced.
You didn't see
Or not
nothing.
announced, but it's been re-announced and is a proper trailer. It's very fancy and shiny looking.
All I meant by my earlier comment about being surprised Bayonetta is being locked on to a Nintendo console was basically let's be honest, Bayonetta is not the most family friendly character because like she's wearing her hair, like her clothing is actually her
Mm.
hair, and when she wants to go full power, she you don't see anything because they cover it up, but like she goes like naked pretty much, and that's not something that's really you know. Remember back in the day, Nintendo had like such a hard on of having to like censor like any religious thing like in Final Fantasy games in the Japanese version you went to a church, there was a holy spell that a white mage could cast. Instead of going to a church you go to like I don't even know what they call it the building anymore, I forget, but like you talk to a priest. They removed all the crosses from the church because they
Was
wouldn't want
it?
any reference, and again they changed holy into like a spell called white.
Yeah. Wasn't that more? Well, maybe not all of them, but wasn't some of that due to um the the censor board here for video games? And partially, I'm sure some of that was Nintendo as well. But I'm sure that some of that stuff was because of the censor board, like the covering up of Siren. I can see that the censor board in North America going, no, 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 that's not good, right?
The censor board would not have existed during that time. Nintendo's very they policed their own console because this was just after the console crash, right? And then Nintendo was kind of like the first to emerge from the flames or
Well, I
from
guess it would have
ashes.
been before that, because
Yeah.
what do you call it hadn't dropped yet. What game was it? Night Trap.
Well,
Night Trap had it.
when I say Final Fantasy, I mean like the original one, like for
Oh no,
Nintendo.
I know. I was just trying to think of what game was it that kind of sparked the creation of the board
It
there.
would have been Mortal Kombat. I'm
Mortal
that's
Kombat was one of them, but Night Trap was
um
also there as well
Night
for
Trap
part of it.
was definitely involved, but I just saw something actually pretty not too long ago that said Mortal Kombat was the the sole
Oh,
reason. But Night Trap was a contribution. They
yeah,
brought up Night Trap, but it was Mortal Kombat more than
yeah,
anything
definitely
else.
Night Trap is a like contributing factor, but yes, Mortal Kombat being like as violent as it was, Nintendo like you're punching guys and sweat's coming out of them.
Yeah,
But then you gotta play the arcade or I believe Sega had a version of it and there's blood. It's like okay, well,
you had to put a code in for the Sega version.
right, you start putting the code, but how many kids do you know that didn't know the code if they had the Sega version of the game?
Right. Uh, yeah. Anyways, is anything else for the direct?
Uh, Splatoon 3.
Okay.
And I don't play Splatoon. I don't have much to say. Still looks like Splatoon. And new Kirby game.
Oh yeah. Huh.
New Kirby. Yeah, it looks cute as fuck. I mean, I don't play Kirby, but I love the aesthetic of all the Kirby games, and I've always wanted to like pick them up and just chill with Kirby. And
Excuse me, Chris. In this podcast, we use kawaii as fuck. Thank you very much.
Kawaii.
Yeah,
I'm
kawaii.
sorry. I'm sorry. This is the traditional weebcast.
Yes, exactly.
But yes, it looks really it looks cute, and I don't know if it'll be my first Kirby game that I will buy, but it may very well be. I
Wait,
usually jump on very late into Nintendo properties, like I did. That I bought like the last Luigi's Mansion game instead of going to the first one.
hold on. You're telling me you never played a Kirby game before?
Never.
Oh my God, dude. Y-
I have never, because I always thought, who the hell wants to play this
It's
pink boar
it's
monster?
it's really good. Like play the game, the first one on the Nintendo. It's really good. I had Kirby's Dream Land 2 for Game Boy, and then Kirby's Dream Star, or Kirby's Superstar for the
Yeah,
Super Nintendo was a really good game too, I will
I see
say.
that run on GDQ all the time,
Yes,
and I'm like, I should play them. And
it's
they had Kirby's Robo Blast, which looked pretty cool because you get to have a little mech you play with.
mhm.
And the Epic Yarn game looked really cool. I like the yarn effects that they did in that game. It looked nice. I just never bothered to pick them up, even though I like the aesthetic and the characters, even if Kirby is gross. He's a giant pink four monster. I don't know if I'm into that.
Kirby's like one step away from being a Pokemon, pretty much.
Oh, he is. He is a Pokemon. He's the first Pokemon. And I should see if that's on the on Nintendo's online service there to stream. If they've got any of the if they've got the original Kirby on there. And speaking of that, there is something that is changing on their online service. Apparently, they're getting Sega and Nintendo 64 games on their streaming service as well.
Nice, nice. That's awesome.
And they're making replica wireless controllers of the N64 and Sega Genesis to use with the Switch.
That's good. I really like that news. That's a win-win for everyone, pretty much.
They've already got like a list of games coming out, and the list looks pretty good so far of games that will be there on launch and which ones will be dropped in the future. Looks good. I didn't think that we would see N64 games dropping on Switch.
I'd like to retract that statement. It's not, I had to think about it for a second. It's not a win-win for everyone because we don't even have to speculate this. We know Nintendo's going to charge an arm and a leg for these controllers. We don't even have to guess. That's Nintendo's just being Nintendo. They're going to charge, or they're going to overcharge for everything they can, including those new controllers. So, I mean, it's good that they have it. Hopefully, but we all know the answer to that. They're not going
Are you
to
gonna
charge too much.
buy the N64 controller and then just use it on your PC? No?
For me,
Yeah.
no, because I don't really need to use an N64 controller on my PC. Like I don't really have any games, but if I were, I'd just go on Amazon and buy like a $20 one, you know?
I see. You won't go with the official. You'll
Well,
go with the third party bootleg.
we'll see if the Switch which Switch is even capable of hooking up to a PC or not. Like you never know. Maybe it's only for Switch and they program it or hardware
As,
it that way, you know?
as far as I know, it's just Bluetooth because I've got the Pro controller and that hooks up to PC.
Okay, I did not know
So
that.
I'm assuming it'll have the same kind of infrastructure in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
unless of like you said, they might have locked them away. I never pick up like the Super Nintendo wireless controller. I want to pick one up and then just haven't yet.
Like 2 or 3 months ago, I bought two Super Nintendo controllers in a combo set for like $20 off Amazon, and aside from the logo, it looks and feels like the original. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I need to get some replacement Super Nintendo controllers for my real SNES. The I've got a bootleg one and a real one, and both of them, the bootleg one doesn't feel good to use, and one of the triggers doesn't work. And on my real one, the other trigger doesn't work.
hmm.
And I don't know if maybe a wire is loose or something. I've taken them apart, I've cleaned them, so I'm sure it's not because it's filthy, but it sucks. I need to like look up trying to get a new controller for that. I don't have many real SNES games because some of them are quite. All the ones I want are expensive, but I still do have the system and would like proper working controllers. But yeah, the Sega Genesis and N64 coming to the Switch Online. I think they're changing to for that, maybe calling it Switch Online Plus or Switch Online Plus something. I don't remember the exact title, but I don't know if that's gonna be like an extra payment wall for that service, or if they're just calling it that as the announcement trailer. I don't know. We'll have to see because I don't think they said if there's gonna be a price increase or not for that, or if there's a separate service.
I hope it's the same, but who knows? I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, last week we talked about Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming to the service, so N64 shouldn't be any different as far as they're concerned, right? Maybe Sega will have a say, but
It should be, and I think Sega and Nintendo have a pretty decent relationship nowadays, back from the gaming wars that we all
yeah,
survived back in the
they
80s.
all survived. I think you meant the Bit Wars that we survived.
The bit wars.
The Bit Wars. I'm not even kidding. That's actually what it's called. The Bit Wars.
Uh,
And we're not talking about Twitch bits here. We're talking about 16 bits. And then, you know,
Sega does what Nintendo
don't.
don't.
Yep. Yeah.
I
Uh,
think Sega really was the one, so we're trying to push that. Nintendo's like, yeah, we're on top. What do you, we don't need to sling shit like you're doing.
mhm.
I
So anything else?
mean, oh, sorry.
Anything else out of that Nintendo Direct? But it sounds like you had something else to add.
No, I was gonna say something now, I forgot, but I think it's pretty much it. Just a few little updates, more stuff being added into Monster Hunter Rise, and a few other games are getting updates, but those were kind of like the big things that I've seen. Oh, uh, I guess one other big thing coming out of that, which wasn't on this direct, but I believe was announced on it. They announced the live cast, no, the live action like voice cast for the CG Mario movie coming out next year.
Yeah, this is something
Yeah,
I caught a whiff of. Like I saw that they announced this. They announced all the characters, but I think they announced Mario, Peach, Toad, um, maybe like a few more miscellaneous characters.
Bowser, I think. Yeah, definitely Bowser and Spike, Kamek, Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, yeah. So I know the internet kind of blew up and they were not very happy.
Oh, I'm
So
not happy.
so well, I think we might have two different perspectives on this. So
Yeah, yeah.
how about you go first? Like, why are you not happy about this?
Charles Martinet is the voice of Mario and Luigi. Waluigi, and most of the Nintendo or Mario cast. And he's getting a tiny little cameo in this movie. Instead of doing the voice of Mario, he's the voice of Mario and Luigi. He should be doing their voices.
I
So I
was
wonder, because it's a Hollywood thing, they're like, oh, well, we need to have big, high budget, you know, expensive actors to be playing these characters instead of getting the actual voice of him. And this makes me think, is Charles Martinet's whole gimmick in this going to be that he'll show up as a short, fat, chubby Mario that we know and go, oh no, it looks like I have to go down this drain pipe and save Peach. And that'll be his entire thing as a throwaway gag. And me thinking of that makes me hate this movie already.
So
And Seth Rogen being the voice of Donkey Kong, no, I do not want Seth Rogen to be the voice of Donkey Kong. I almost don't want. I want the person I want to be the voice of Donkey Kong is one who voiced from Donkey Kong Country, the animated cartoon.
a
I want him. I
what was
want
his
Cranky
name?
Kong to be that same guy. Just get all the people we already know as his voices. Like, I wish it would just do that instead of replacing them all. But we'll wait and see when an actual trailer drops and see how well the voices are and what the movie actually looks like. So I'm gonna save real criticism until then, like I do with a lot of stuff. But I am, upset that they're not using the real voice cast.
Yeah,
And
see,
you?
I thought we had different opinions, but no, you more or less echoed what I want to say, but I want to add on a little bit to that. So what I was about to say before you did was basically, so yeah, Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, is in the movie, but he's not number one. He's not playing Mario, and number two, he's playing some very like he's on the bottom of the totem pole in this movie in terms of the characters he's actually playing. So here's okay, so kind of like where I thought you were going, which is why I let you go first, is because the internet is blowing up about, oh, Chris Pratt is going to be a bad Mario, why is Jack Black Bowser and all this stuff, right?
I think Jack Black could probably do good Bowser.
Yeah, but
Surprisingly, over the years of his acting career, he's gotten better. And I'm starting to kind of like him more, but I also still don't like Jack Black. Like, go on.
I kind of lost my train of thought now. Hang on.
Sorry about that. We're talking about the voice actings with the internet saying Chris Pratt
Yeah,
won't do a good Mario.
yeah, so as I was saying, the internet's blowing up, like, shitting on Chris Pratt, like why Chris Pratt, and like, why Jack Black and all these people, like basically like why everyone that got announced for a role. My like I like I'll take a wait and see approach and see if these actors are good. But yeah, like I echo your statement. Like, number one, they just wanted to get, it's a movie, and they didn't want Charles Martinet to be like the main name on the movie because he would have played Mario, obviously, right?
Yeah,
And
he has to.
but even bigger than that is Charles Martinet has been playing the voice of Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and a bunch of other different Mario characters for like ever since like a quarter of a century ago. 25 years ago exactly is when Mario 64 came out. And it's the first time we heard, wahoo, it's a
Yeah.
me, Mario, that was Chris Martinet. If we think of how Mario
Chris
sounds,
Martinet? Charles.
sorry, Charles Martinet. I'm getting Chris
you,
Pratt. I
you
I
fused them
I am
together.
combining Chris Pratt and now I'm double guessing myself. Charles Martinet into the same person apparently. I don't
They
know.
did a fusion dance, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Fusion. Okay, let's do one, Chris. Which you
I
have
don't
to
know which
let's
direction
you have to
you're
go.
to this way.
No, you have to go opposite. You have to go opposite. Okay, there we go.
They fused together to
Yes.
create
So
Chris Martinet.
yeah, it's like he is the voice of Mario. I have nothing against Chris Pratt. You could put anyone else there, and I would feel exactly the same way. It's nothing to do with Chris Pratt. It's the fact that Charles Martinet is not Mario. That makes me mad for him. Like, and what's even worse is he's in the movie, and that might sound a little weird, but like it's kind of like, oh, by the way, you can be in the movie, but you're just going to play some like minor role, just kind of like as an Easter egg. I'm like,
Mhm.
that is so disrespectful to him. I'm sure he's happy to be in a movie. He probably hasn't been. Maybe he has been, but he's a voice actor. He was made to do this. He's not an actor like Chris Pratt is.
Yeah.
I bet you Charles Martinet, I bet you anything, Charles Martinet is a better voice actor, specifically a voice actor, than Chris Pratt or anyone else, right?
Well, yeah, he's trained
He
as a voice actor.
Yes.
There's a little
So
different for acting, but you
yeah,
know,
he was made to do an animated movie, but it just that's what makes me mad. Like most of the internet's mad because they're picking on Chris Pratt or, as I said, Jack Black or whatever, whoever got announced during the direct. I'm mad because Charles Martinet is getting seriously disrespected in like two ways in one, if that makes sense. So that's my perspective.
yeah, if I do think it's a bit disrespectful in a way, but I kind of had a feeling they would do this. I was hoping they wouldn't because I wanted to just hear Mario, but will also wait for a trailer. There's, they got a whole bunch of people here. They could do good or bad voices. Now I know like a bunch of these characters don't really have voices. They're more like rah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like Spike doesn't speak. He just and Peach has like one or two lines in a Mario game, like in Mario Odyssey, other than saying Mario.
Yeah,
She
right.
has like one other line and that's it. So you can understand them changing certain voice casts, but it's mostly Mario. Everyone else you could change out if they do decent voices, but changing out Mario and possibly Luigi, uh, that kind of sucks. But hopefully, when they drop, it'll be really good. Hopefully, people are not disappointed in it.
Yeah, but you know what? And Chris, I told you this numerous times throughout our friendship. I think the Super Mario Brothers movie, like the live action one, like the '90s one,
Is awesome.
is awesome because it's so bad it's good. It just it's how like when you do like a speed run in a game and like you do like a stack underflow, like you kind of like go to 255 in an item and like you kind of like work the memory in such a way that like you kind of like start at zero again or something like that, right? Like
Mm,
I do one of those glitches in Mystic Quest actually. Like when I heal the last boss with a cure and he has so much HP that it actually hurts him instead of heals him because
yeah,
I'm underflowing his HP pretty much. But they're kind of I forget where I'm going with this. Why did I even say that?
I don't
Um,
know. Uh, I'm not sure where you're going with this
yeah,
because
I
you lost me too.
know.
I just, just we hope that it'll turn
Oh,
out
that's
really
right.
good.
I remember now. We're
Oh,
talking
you
the Mario
remembered?
movie. It's kind of the Mario movie is a stack underflow. It's so bad it becomes good
Well,
because of how bad
it's
it is. I
it's
love
like
it.
Street Fighter. Jean-Claude Van Damme, a Frenchman, is the perfect
Yes,
role
for
for
Guile.
an American.
And I told
Like,
you, I'm pissed off they made Zangief a bad guy. He's never been a bad guy in the games. He's only a bad guy in
oh,
the Street Fighter
yes,
movie
but
because he was Russian or the USSR at the
yep,
time. That's the
yeah,
only reason. That's
that's
the
more
only
likely the
reason.
only reason. But the guy who played Zangief is Zangief. Or Zangief. He is. He was that kicker. He played him well. He played him the way he's supposed to be played. All right, you can't disagree that
Hmm.
him. The voice. No, not the voice cast, but the cast in that is so good. Like reading the comments here. Like we could be. And someone mentioned Detective Pikachu. I didn't know how good that would be, and then I watched Detective Pikachu and said, "Holy crap!" Even though what's his name is doing the voice of Pikachu, like I don't care. This movie's good, and I liked him in the end of doing Pikachu's voice. I'm glad though in the end they didn't have him go Pika Pika and just replace the voice actors. But like I was very surprised at how well uh, Deadpool, what's his name, played Pikachu. So we could be shocked when this comes out how well these guys do the voices and how well they suit the maybe slight change in characters that might happen with this movie. We don't know
Yeah,
yet.
I never saw Detective Pikachu myself, but I obviously know which movie you're talking about. But yeah, I remember the same thing happened. Like, oh hey, why does Pikachu sound like this? Like this guy, like why does he sound like a human? Shouldn't he be going like Pika Pika? Kind of like that voice
Yeah, but
actress
that's
does
based
for.
on the 3DS game as well, I believe. I haven't played it, but
Oh,
I
you're
believe the
right.
story's similar.
Yeah, you're right about that. I forgot the 3DS game.
But yeah, I hope we're pleasantly surprised when we
Hmm.
finally get a trailer for it.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm someone who like don't share on something until you have like it in your hands and you actually like right now it's all speculation either way
Hmm.
whether you like it or not. It's fine to have an opinion, but like don't shit on something so hard until like you might like it, you might change your mind. It happens all the time, right? You never
Yeah.
know. You
So
never know.
to briefly here for another thing that's to do with voice casting, or I guess not really voice casting, this live action, going from a anime manga to a live action show. They're doing a Saint Seiya movie. We just recently finished the entire Saint Seiya series, not
Hmm.
including the prequel or Saint Seiya show or the new one, but like of the classic show and all the movies. And I have to say, wow, Sean Bean. Sean Bean's going to be in this movie. He's playing Keto, like the old Sayori's grandfather. So, is this going to be yet another movie where Sean Bean dies? Because he's not alive for very long in the
He
show.
does in everything. Sean Bean is made to die. Whether he's a good guy, a bad guy, it doesn't matter. The poor guy is just destined to die in every role
Yeah,
he's in.
but I'm thinking of the old man and thinking of Sean Bean going, yeah, okay, I can see Sean Bean is that. If you look at I'm gonna click the link here. But oh sorry, open original. Give me 1 second here. Nope, I opened the wrong thing. Sorry about that. So we've got a cast here. There's what, 7 people. There's 2 people I really want to mention other than Sean Bean. The guy in the middle on our link here, which is on Anime News Network. The guy in the middle is supposed to be Seiya. Now I think that headshot is a little bad. They put him like in a bad light. I think he could be Seiya. He's quite young. Yeah. What was his name? He's been in a few things. Maken Ryu. I think I said his name right. He was in
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Pacific Rim, and he was in Rurouni Kenshin, the last movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. And he played, I want to say it was the bad guy, but I have yet to see it. So I don't know. I think he is young enough looking to play Seiya. The next guy is the guy next to him on going right. So he'd be the 1, 2, 3, the 5th one over. According to what they know about the script, he's the one who's going to be trying to kidnap Sayori. So he's probably Phoenix. Oh my God, he looks like who I thought would play Phoenix and or Dragon Shiryu. This nice, like I assume he's tall, slender, very good looking. So I wanted him to play one of those 2 people. I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. I believe he's playing them. But yeah, like they got a lot of big names in here, and it could be good and it could be bad. But I hope it's not a train wreck, because I want a good Saint Seiya thing to come out in the few years. And the Netflix Saint Seiya disappointed me.
Yeah, I think you're a lot more gung ho about this than I am.
I am.
I
Oh.
am oops, I am I'm taking a wait and see approach. Like I'm not excited, but I'll watch it, if it sparks my interest. But yeah,
Oh yeah, of course.
let's the first 2 people you mentioned I haven't really heard of, or
Yeah, I
I
haven't heard of them either. I've seen stuff with them in, but
yeah, I haven't really seen anything that they're in, but the next one we have, well, I have at least. I don't know how to say her name. Famke Janssen, I believe. She was Jean Grey from X-Men. Not the Days of Future Past.
is
Not
this the blonde girl?
the redhead.
The one near the end of the list there?
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
she
sorry.
played Liam Leeson's wife in all 3 Taken movies, and I'm not sure if you've seen the Taken
That's
movies.
where I've kind of I
Yeah.
haven't seen them, but I recognize her face. I just didn't know from where. And it must be from that.
I like her as an actress. I think she's a good actress. Yeah, so I'm not sure. There's only 2 females here, so she's either going to play not Sasori, Sayori,
Yeah,
or
I believe Sayori will be the blonde girl. I just don't know her name. Some of these
yeah.
characters, they don't have who they're going to be playing. So forgive me if I do not quite know. Sean Bean. Oh no, you are thinking of Jemison. Okay, yeah. Yeah, she would be Sayori, I believe.
Okay.
And the other person, is it Jake? No, Nikki Stahali? Possibly. I may be getting these characters wrong because their names aren't underneath their portfolios or under the picture, so I can't remember who's who. But I believe she will be Seiya's trainer. What's her name with the mask? Who everyone
Oh,
thought is his sister.
yeah. Oh, the
So I
name
don't
escapes me.
so I don't believe that she'll be playing the other one who won revenge on Seiya, who ends up falling for him. But yeah, I believe she'll be one of the trainers. I'm guessing if they're sticking with the main plot. From what they've said in the plot, kind of what it's about, it seems to still be following Saint Seiya. I'm sure that there's some changes here and there, but depending on how far they go with the changes, since it takes place in modern day, it's just a lot of it takes place in like what looks like ancient ruins of Greece. So, but it's taking place in real day in a little bit of the future. Yeah, yeah, they can all work as long as the main story still stays the same. It'll work. I just
Marin.
hope that yeah, Marin, that's her name. Yeah, it's. I hope it'll be good. Again, I'll wait to see when more of this is revealed. But the first thing that stuck out to me is holy crap, Sean Bean.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Sean Bean, yeah. I mean, again, this one I have again, I because it's a Japanese thing that they're trying to have, they're trying to bring to the West
yep,
with the actors and actresses. So we'll see. I mean, like,
a lot of
we'll see.
Japanese, especially manga or anime turning into live action in North America have been crap. I think the best one that I've seen was Speed Racer. And but a lot of them just fall flat or don't or are not very good. Like they'll come out mediocre. I guess it can be said for a lot of the Japanese ones as well, but they do a lot more in Japan. So I think there's a bigger precedent of these are mediocre to good,
Hmm.
and there haven't been as many flops as North America because North America tries to grab the big titles. So it ends up stacking weight on their shoulders of this it has to be this or that. I just hope it's good. But we'll wait and see. If we did just have a little bit of news that I seen pop up today when I checked, something that actually has to do with Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I did not post in Discord, but you know that Universal Japan has released or will be opening soon Super Nintendo World, right?
Yes, I have heard of this somewhat.
So they've already announced an expansion to Super Mario to Super Nintendo World.
Oh,
Can you take a guess as to what it will be?
by the way, I'm kind of wearing this shirt because I knew of the Charles Martinet news. I had to.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun,
He's doing
dun,
a
dun,
Shoryuken
dun.
to you.
Uh,
If you move this shirt over,
sure. Yeah. There we
so his
go.
chin's yeah, there you go. Ugh.
Sorry, what were you saying about expansion to the
Can you
Nintendo World?
take a guess from the popular Nintendo franchises? What do you think would be an expansion to Super Nintendo World, which is a Mario themed Universal Studios theme park?
You'll have to give me a little more of a hint, like
He has to
what you're
do with
asking of me.
Mario.
Oh, Luigi,
No,
Wario.
no, no, like not Mario themed, but it has 100% everything to do with Mario or why he even exists.
Oh, Shigeru Miyamoto.
No.
No?
Donkey Kong.
Oh, Donkey Kong. Okay, I see. I
I'm
see.
sorry.
I'm like, you're like the reason he exists. I'm like, you mean his father, Miyamoto? Okay, I guess not.
No, Donkey Kong
I
and Jump.
didn't I didn't realize what you're asking me. I'm like,
Sorry.
no,
They're doing
that's
they are
I understand
doing
now.
a Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World, and I really really want to see this. I don't know if I ever went to Japan, and if this thing was up, I would be very hard. It would be very hard not to tempt me to go to see Donkey Kong World, because Donkey Kong's my favorite Nintendo property.
Hmm.
I love the big stupid meathead. uh, Yeah, like what we've seen from the Super Nintendo World, because there've been videos of Shigeru Miyamoto and other people going there and showing off what's going to be in the world. And it looks like it could be fun, and I assume that they'll have the same level of quality and like references in Donkey Kong Land. Yeah, like I assume that there'll be some kind of Donkey Kong bongo stuff
Oh
in there, so
no,
you can play a rhythm game on the bongos or
let's not
something, or
remember that game.
you don't like it?
I
Well.
have it. I have the bongos for GameCube somewhere.
If you don't want them, I'll take them.
I
Then I'd have to get a GameCube, but
what? You never had a
but
GameCube?
I did. I just don't have it anymore because the Wii played GameCube games.
Ah, okay.
That's why. So it's like, oh well, this thing does the old thing. Throw out the old thing.
No, I keep the old thing when it comes to games. I always
Like I
keep
don't
it.
know if I sold it or if I like gave it to my brother or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I got rid of it because the Wii did that. So
Yeah,
it's like
and
yeah, I don't need this anymore.
for our listeners, I will say Chris is like Donkey Kong, not just as a Nintendo character, but as a character in general for as long as I know him. known him. So,
I want to say Donkey Kong was probably one of the first video games I ever played.
like the original one.
Yeah, it was Donkey Kong Jr., Cubert, Tetris would have been some of the first four games I ever touched.
Interesting.
So that might be part of it, why I love Donkey Kong. And I love monkeys and apes. So
And you like Strong Boys too.
I love strong, dumb men, which is why I love Broly and Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Because he's just big, dumb muscle.
But that's what Donkey Kong is essentially.
Yep, he's got a peanut-sized brain and brawn of that of like any world-class weight builder or weightlifter. Yeah,
So,
that like dropped kind of today or a day ago or something. And I didn't catch it until like today. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. Don't know if I'll ever see it. I'll have to check out videos at least of people seeing it when it's out. It's supposed to drop in like 2024, so there's a few years to wait for it to drop.
oh,
I'll probably forget about it until then. I
okay.
mean, Super Nintendo World took quite a few years to. Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, I thought,
Sorry.
I was going to ask you, so how soon are you booking your plane tickets, Chris? That's what I was about to ask. To-
Well, I originally wanted to go in 2020, but crap happened.
Mhm.
As we know, the world fell apart. Now it's going to have to be delayed for my trip to Japan. Um, I don't know if I'll wait till 2024, but we'll see what happens with the world. Like, I really want to go, and if I have to wait till 2024, I was hoping to not go when I was 44 or 43 years old. So it
Well,
may just have to happen then.
for me, it was more of a joke. It's like, so you're going tomorrow on the plane, right? Like to Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, like if it was open like now,
Yeah,
N-
yeah.
not the way
That.
the world is, but
Oh,
if I could
yeah, yeah,
afford
yeah.
it, I would definitely would want to go. I mean, there's other reasons for me to go. Like, I want to see Godzilla. I don't know, like other than the Godzilla statues. I
Re-
also, if they don't take it down, the statue of Zod in front of there's a statue of Zod from Berserk somewhere in Japan.
Real life Godzilla.
Oh man, I would. I, oh, I'd be hard pressed not to, go to Monster Island to find Godzilla if he existed for real. I would risk it to get as close to Godzilla as I could.
Okay, this is super off topic, but really quickly,
Mm. I know we're going off topic, of
Kong
course.
or Godzilla? Who do you favor? And like,
Godzilla.
oh wow, better than Donkey Kong, huh?
Godzilla's 100 meters tall, and Kong is a few stories tall. Kong is nothing compared to Godzilla. Godzilla is the man. He's the beast. He's the original.
No, no, I'm not blaming you. I knew how much you like Donkey Kong. I didn't realize
I
Godzilla
do,
trumped him.
but I don't like King Kong is fine, but I love Godzilla.
And
Godzilla's way cooler to me.
mhm,
And I don't like the American kaijus as much. Like, I never watched the American Godzilla movies. I watched the first two and have been so disappointed with them. I don't want to watch Godzilla versus Kong. I kind of called what was going to happen in the movie long before the movie came out,
and
just
just
based on their marketing of it.
and just for our listeners, like when I say Donkey Kong, like, are you thinking, oh, you must be King Kong? Well, Donkey Kong, I know Chris knows this, but Donkey
Hmm,
Kong was based off of King Kong, so that's why
yeah,
I'm asking Chris. Oh, you
but
like
legally distinct.
Godzilla better than Donkey Kong, pretty much. So that's all I meant by
Oh,
that, in case anyone
yeah.
got
If
confused.
if we're talking Donkey Kong versus King Kong, I like Donkey Kong way more. Like for some reason, I just don't like the big ape when he's on the big screen in realistic looking fashion. I don't know. I'm sure if I watched the movie, I could turn my brain off and enjoy the new one,
Hmm.
but I probably can't. Anyway, I think
Yeah,
we're done with talking about my big dumb stupid boy.
yeah,
Do you want to bring something up since this was kind of a lot of Nintendo news and other
yeah.
associated with
It's
it?
well, we covered a lot on our first episode too. We kind of went over time, but um,
We went over time now. We haven't been live that long,
sorry,
have we?
no, no, I meant the first episode.
Oh, first episode,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
So yeah, not really much to discuss, but I found it pretty interesting.
Mm,
Apparently, you know how bad Avengers is doing now. So now,
You mean the Square Enix Avengers game?
sorry, not the movie franchise. That's not what I meant. Yes, we're talking about the video game. The video game
Yeah, I do know
Avengers.
it's doing pretty crappy.
It's doing pretty crappy. Remember, it's an online service. So what they did is it's coming to Game Pass in the next couple days on for everything
Hmm.
for PC, for console, for cloud, which includes web browsers and mobile, I believe. Maybe you can't play on those, but for sure it's coming for the PC and console on Game Pass, which is really interesting to me because they're kind of cashing out at this point. They're like, okay, look, we can't make any more money selling the game. We're gonna sell it to Microsoft. They'll give us a lump sum to have it on Game Pass for a year. So
Hmm.
that's a really bad sign that the game is dying, and that's not really a surprise to anyone, to you or to me or to anyone else. It's just kind of interesting to see that's the current state of affairs. Square
Hmm.
Enix, one of the most, maybe not the most richest, but one of the most popular publishers, has one of the most popular license, the MCU license, and they failed so hard that they had to put it on Game Pass like what 2 years after the game came out now. Maybe it was like only a year or so, but still.
A year or year and a half, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's really hasn't been that long. And correct me if I'm wrong, Spider-Man still hasn't been released.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. But that's a
He
PlayStation only thing, right?
still, though, he still hasn't been released. It's been how long?
Yep.
He was supposed to be out long ago and still hasn't dropped.
I I did not want to support. I did not want to buy or play any version of Marvel's Avengers that was like lesser than another version for the same
Yeah,
cost.
them
You know?
locking Spider-Man off. Even if it was short time exclusivity, it still sucks. But yeah, like locking off content from people, especially in a live service game, and just saying, "Hey, you love all these guys, and you can't get this one guy or these." We'll say 1 to 5 guys. We'll just say that we'll make it a decent sized roster, in a roster that could be like 20, 30, 40 people. It's like if you were to play a fighting game. We'll say like I don't know, one where you could play as Darth Vader, but in the other version you could play as Yoda, but you can't play as both. I wonder what series I'm
Soul
talking about
Calibur.
there.
Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
But
it's shitty when they do that. Like they lock off characters for a specific version. Why not just put them out on all of them? I
so I have two quick things to say.
yeah, go ahead.
First is if you're gonna sell me the same game but has less content, I think it's only fair you charge me less. Not that I bought Avengers at all. I didn't
Mhm.
even play it, but you know. And second of all, some people might be thinking, well, yeah, it makes sense. It's a Sony console and Sony owns the right to Spider-Man. But maybe you can. I'm not sure if this is true. I think it is, but maybe you can back me up or correct me, Chris. Sony only owns the movie rights to Spider-Man. That's it, not the game
I,
rights, I
I want to
believe.
say that is true.
So even though they have like a couple Spider-Man games on the PS4, PS5 now, that's more of a, like they kind of paid money for that licensing agreement, I believe. So the fact that Square Enix decided to kind of lock Spider-Man, which arguably I don't think I have to make much of a point for this, is the most popular Marvel character, or at least
Nope.
one of.
The
eh,
most popular superhero in the
Yeah,
world.
there you go. Behind only the PlayStation, not the Xbox or PC or Stadia or anything else. That's kind of
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of that they kind of shot themselves in the foot for that, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's really dumb for them to do that. I hate the whole locking off content for specific things, just to
Hmm.
say you're never going to get all the content, but maybe in the future you could pay us $5 to unlock it in like 2 years when no one's playing the game or
Exactly.
whatever, right? It's just dumb. I didn't know that was coming to. I was about to say Stadia. That's not it. To Game Pass. I
Yeah,
thought maybe you're going to say they're finally releasing Spider-Man, but
I just found that out today actually.
oh
So,
wow, that's
um
interesting.
let me see. That doesn't it's not too important. We can move on. That's all I really wanted to say anyway, so we can move on. Was there something else you want to talk about? Some more news?
Uh, we do another one here. Did you ever did you pick up the Disney Classic game collection? The one
Yes, I did when it was
that
on
had
sale. I
Aladdin
at Lion
and
King.
Lion King. Were those the only two?
Those are the only two.
But they had couple different versions of them.
Yeah.
They're doing an update for it with another, I want to say, physical release that's actually going to be adding in the Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe it's going to have, correct me if I'm wrong, every version of all of those games. So let me get the list here. Aladdin, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Sega Mega Drive. Sorry, Disney's Aladdin Final Cut, Sega Mega Drive. I don't know what that one is. Aladdin demo version, Sega Mega Drive. Disney's Aladdin Japanese, Sega Mega Drive. Lion King, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Sega. Lion King Japanese version, Sega. And the Jungle Book, SNES, Game Boy, and Mega Drive. So I don't know how many of those weren't on the original, but there are definitely some new additions on there. And each of these are different from each other in terms of like music or music quality, whether or not Aladdin has like a sword in his hands, or if it's more of a platformer game. Some of them were made by different companies, even if they were released at the same time, just on different consoles. And the thing that was different about this, because this was announced, I want to say a week or two ago, the thing that's different about this announcement is they finally said, hey, we're going to have a version or have a way for people who own the original to upgrade to this version. I don't think they have a price on here, but there is apparently going to be a way for you to update your version of the game. So yeah, what do you think? Or what do you have to say? Or add if I missed anything.
No, I think you got most of it. And well, before I say anything, I just want to say, yeah, Chris kind of touched on this point a little bit, but there's a lot of different versions of the game. Like back in the day, like these are some of the consoles me and Chris grew up with, but back in the day, it wasn't necessarily the case. It was actually more than likely that different versions were completely, well, not completely, but more or less different games. Like they may have shared some custom, some common, what's the word I'm looking for?
Assets.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Exactly. Some common assets, but for the most part, they had different levels. They played differently. They looked differently. That was not an uncommon thing. So the fact that they have so many different versions, that's kind of why they jam packed it. It's not just here's like, again, we just talked about Avengers. Like here's the Xbox version of Avengers. Here's the Sony, or yeah, the PlayStation version of Avengers. Not counting Spider-Man, they're exactly the same game. That's what most games are nowadays, if not every
Mhm.
single game, right? They're almost always the same game, regardless of where you're playing it. That wasn't the case. So the fact that they're jam packing that with so many new games is good, and the fact that they're doing an upgrade path is also good, because you shouldn't have to purchase the same game twice, which has been, there has been some controversies like that, like for Control, that I think it happened like under a year ago. Not sure if you heard about that, Chris. I know that's not really what we're talking about here, but it was the same kind of fiasco about having to buy the game
Oh,
twice,
yes. Yes.
and then like, yeah, I think you heard of it. You might have just forgotten about it, but it basically, they're avoiding that, so that's good on them, honestly. Good on them for doing the right thing.
Mm. I'm glad that they're going to do that, because originally they announced it said and did not have anything on there saying there'll be a way to upgrade. The one thing that sucks about it though is they are, I believe, doing another physical release of the game, but it means that people who bought the original physical release now have an incomplete collection.
Yeah.
And even if they upgrade it, the physical version that they could just pop into their Switch or whatever will not have all the games. You'll have to do it. You'll be forced to have to do an update, which sucks. Or they'll have to like buy the new cart when it comes out. So it sucks on that end. But so like I would have thought that maybe they would have done a different release with a bunch of other games. But I don't know, out of the Disney classic games from this era, how many still haven't been re-released. So I I don't know if you know which ones, but I thought that they might have been holding off on like Jungle Book and stuff like that for a new release in the future. Like maybe do this with like maybe what's it called? Rescue Rangers, and kind of expand it beyond the Disney movies and go into more Disney properties.
So they did actually do that. It's actually called the Disney Afternoon Collection. They had Rescue Rangers
Oh,
1 and 2, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, and I forget the fifth game on there,
I
but
forgot that existed. I didn't even know it. I didn't even know what games were on there. So,
I
whoops,
I
I didn't
played
know.
through that. I played through the Disney Afternoon Collection. I will say, excellent game, and I know you'd enjoy it, Chris.
Yeah, I played probably most of them. I definitely played through Rescue Rangers. Uh, Disappointed I don't get to play as my favorite character.
The Big Mouse, who
You'd think
Monterey
so,
Jack.
but you'd think so based on my choices,
Oh,
but I
you're
had other
talking
reasons.
the girl Gadget.
Yes.
Yes,
I had
okay.
other reasons for liking the show, and
It
it was for
was
gadgets.
okay. Let's not get into that conversation.
Well, you don't want to get into what kind of furry characters you like.
No, this is not a furry podcast. It will never be a or else I quit, Chris. Okay.
We'll come back to this conversation in the future. Let's just say it, gadget, big heart.
Oh no.
It's
Oh
the reason
no.
why I watch the show.
Okay, moving on with other news.
Moving on.
Moving
Do
on.
you have an Oculus Quest 2
I
or any kind of VR system?
I do not. I've
Because I don't think
never.
I posted this. This was also something I saw like a few days ago. Apparently, I don't know if it's locked to Oculus Quest 2, but Biohazard 4, Resident Evil 4, is dropping into VR.
Oh wow. That's
Coming out, I believe, October 21st or 22nd.
wow. That's actually really awesome, honestly. Like I've never even tried VR, so I would never call myself a VR gamer, let alone own VR, but that's really good that they decided to get a good game like RE4 and put that into VR. So my question is, again, I haven't played the game, but I know the meme. Show me your wares. You want to see my
What you
wares?
buying?
That's it. What you buying with his open trench coat? I'm like, oh God! Now you can see all of his detail
Now
in
you
full
see
VR
all of it.
glory.
You can get the chunk if you wanted to.
uh, okay. I guess you could.
Yeah.
Yes,
But yeah,
you're
like
not wrong.
VR. I don't know if this means it's like the Oculus Quest 2. But I know like there's a bunch of VR games that you can play not being in VR and then just play like as if it's a first person game. I don't know if they'll allow you to do that, but the trailer says Quest 2, so it may be locked to that. I don't know. But for those who have the Quest 2 or VR, you can look forward to that or look up for future updates on what it can all be played on. It looks like RE4. It looks interesting. I do not have a VR headset. I don't know if I'll play this. I don't think that this was the remake they're talking about for RE4 because they are supposed to be doing a remake of it. I think this is just a thing they've been working on for years and have finally finished because lots of people have been saying RE4 uh, on the VR headsets it's coming. We know it's coming. No, it's finally coming out this year.
Hmm.
It's good. It's good. More Leon is more good.
Yeah, it's a good game. So why not have the opportunity to play in VR? That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. So I guess we can kind of touch on this next piece of news pretty quickly, honestly, like in a couple minutes or less. Like
Okay.
basically, remember how last time we talked about sort of like the ongoing troubles from Activision Blizzard. So apparently
Yes.
they
Yep.
got sued by another commission, like not the original one that did the investigation and ended up suing them, but like another commission, the apparently it was a US Employment Opportunity Commission. They filed a
Mhm.
lawsuit and literally within like an hour or two, I believe it was, maybe a little longer than that, they already settled. They
Yeah, I
already
believe. Sorry, I believe that this one was started. They started looking into it, or something, roughly a month before the other one. Sorry, roughly a month before something like that, before California sued them, which was the oh, communication workers of America. Oh, sorry, filed an unfair. Oh, sorry. Crap. I was trying to find the name of the other group, but basically when it all popped off and the one like California said we're suing you. Roughly a month before, I think is when this other the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, I believe, is when they started looking into them, and then California did, and then you know it's all gotten worse from there. But they settled, eh? At least for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Yeah, like, in the art of war, you don't want to fight a war on two fronts against two different opponents, right?
Aren't they kind of? Isn't at least Bobby Kotick fighting a war on like 3 or 4 fronts because something's going on with him and I think another lawsuit or something that has to do with the investors.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was also another thing with the investors.
We
Yeah,
we could tie them both together,
they they
but
they did sue
go on.
them for because as an investor, they felt like they got lied to, and that's a big no-no.
Well,
So,
yeah, kind of. They were asking like one of the points of it, I believe, were did you know this stuff was going on and didn't tell us about it?
mhm.
And like you've been lying not only to the public but to our faces as well. And so he and I think that's what the thing we talked about last week was the not suit the civil subpoena.
Yeah,
I believe that's what that was about.
yeah.
So if we missed that in the last article, it's because I didn't know about that. I read the article quickly. I think the other bit of news on that either missed it or it wasn't announced exactly what the subpoena was from or who it was for. Sorry. So,
No, I mentioned it last
oh,
episode.
if you did,
I
sorry, I
did, I
didn't.
did, I did say that Bobby Kotick, along with some other high-level executives, did get served subpoenas, so they are forced
Well, yeah,
by
but
law.
did we know like who was subpoenaing them? Did I say that right?
Um, I
Because
th
I didn't find out about that until like I think a day or two after that, after we talked about it. So
wasn't it just the original people who were suing them in the first
no,
place? Or was
unless
someone
if there's
else?
another one, but I believe the one I was talking about was from the investors. But we could be wrong. It's a huge mess going on with Activision Blizzard.
My
But for go on.
my understanding was they got subpoenaed because they got caught shredding documents for the original lawsuit.
Oh, well,
I
if
could be
so,
wrong.
then I believe there was another one from the investors. And but either way, it's obviously not looking good for them. But in terms of like this last one with the settlement, do they say what the settlement
Um,
was for? Because usually they will say like a price, but maybe they don't. Because I believe whatever the price is supposed to be shared between all the people that were it that kind of filed for this, and then anything extra is going toward is it um charities or is this a different thing I'm thinking of? I'm sorry.
so your question is how much was this thing that they settled pretty much immediately? How much was that
Yeah.
settled for?
Is that 18 million?
18 million.
No. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing: when you settle, unless if it's from a public, well, I guess it is a public entity, right? Unless if it's a
Mm,
public entity, no party is, you know, obligated to release that news, but they are obligated to release that news if it's more like the government suing you. Then if you settle, then that has to be public knowledge, which I guess why we know it's $18 million that they settled for because
yeah, I believe that's how it works. If you're
yeah.
like a publicly traded company, a lot of that news has to come forward.
Well, no,
Because
no, no. It has nothing to do with the company. It's because the government,
oh
like,
yeah, that
like
too.
the
But like
commission sued them. That's doesn't matter if it's publicly traded or private. It's still private. Like the number is still private unless if it's a gov.
are you sure if they were publicly traded, wouldn't they
Well,
have to announce it because their shareholders would need to know?
no,
And they're
because shareholders doesn't necessarily mean it's private or public, right? It's like the shares are yes, but the company, does that make sense? Like the company is not
yeah, but if
necessarily.
they're a publicly traded company, that means any normal person can buy shares in the company. That's what I mean. Like if it was a
Yes, you're not
so
wrong, but I don't think one implies the other, is what I'm saying.
okay. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but yeah. Apparently 18 million. Uh will be used to compensate, make amends to the claimants, and any remaining cash will be given to relevant charities. I don't think they say the charities, but yeah, 18 million for them settling this one fight.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I wouldn't call it a fight. I would call it
well, it's
basically a
more like,
bulldoze.
beating a dead
It's
horse.
it's it's like walking on an ant. You don't even know you do it. You know, you don't even know you do it. You're just like walking down the street and oops, you know.
What do you mean, like, Blizzard are the people walking and they're just like, oh, here.
No,
And they just,
Blizzard's the ants because
okay.
they put up no fight. They just gave up immediately.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which way you're looking at it. If it was Blizzard going, oh, something happened, here you go. And then they just continue walking, like as if nothing happened, like they've been
Right.
doing for years.
And just to make a little bit of a clarification for the last point was me and Chris are not Americans, so we don't know how American law works as well as an
Yeah, I
American
also don't know
does.
how
So
Canadian law works.
there you
So,
go.
to be fair,
I somewhat do because of my background, but anyways,
yeah, you can't help that.
yeah. I guess we're done with that, right? We can.
Yeah, there's not much other than one kind of battle is settled amongst the other battles that are still happening.
Mhm. So does
Speaking of a battle that has been kind of won or lost, depending on which way you look at it, Epic versus Apple. I did not post this in here because it's something I forgot about. So I don't have the thing up, but I'm sure it'd be easy to look up. But basically, the Epic versus Apple fight has been going on for what, half a year? Basically, it TLDR in a way. Epic said, I don't want to pay your 30%. We want only 15% so that we can make more money. We're going to make trailers and release lots of shit slinging toward Apple of, you being a greedy company and we should have more money and we're going to sue you. And they've been in a lawsuit ever since.
well, what happened? Just to clarify
But yeah,
was
you can add more stuff. I'm doing a very
okay,
mocking version
right?
of them.
So Apple and Epic are just basically arguing over who gets the most money out of the deal, right? Because Fortnite was on the iOS store amongst others, and Apple wasn't very happy with iOS. They take a cut out of anything. So like even if you sub on someone on Twitch, if it's through the iOS system, Apple gets a cut of it. That's why it's
Yeah, I
more.
believe it's like
Yeah,
30%.
that's why it's more to sub on someone on Twitch on your phone than it is on a PC, for example. So they did it. Fortnite's not an exception. They do that for everyone across the board.
Mm,
And Apple wasn't very happy. So they're like they put
Apple, Epic.
sorry, Epic. Yeah, you're right. Epic wasn't very happy. So they did was put a kind of a they updated the game and had it so you could purchase from them directly, which is a big no-no. Apparently, that was against the Apple terms and conditions. So
Mm-hmm. It is
what they did
or was.
was Apple went ahead and pulled the game off, but Epic kind of was expecting this, and as soon as they did, I think like within a day or two, they already filed a lawsuit and served them for a
Yeah.
lawsuit. And
So along, I'll go on.
no, it's okay. You go.
Oh, along with them, putting their own store on there and trying to convert people onto their actual store, they released a trailer of Free Fortnite done in the mocking style of Apple's 1982, I believe, ad for PCs.
1984, 84.
1984, sorry. But yeah, there's a big ad thing of mocking that in a way, which was a Free Fortnite thing as well. And yeah, that's a good. They've been in lawsuits ever since, back and forth here and there. Judge finally settled. Out of I think 9 main cases, Apple won 8?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Um,
They basically won most of them. So we'll touch on a couple of the big ones. One that I know of is Apple has to allow devs to. I don't know if they have to do if they can do it within an app, or if they're allowed to how they. I don't know exactly how they can advertise it, but basically they can allow the app devs to promote buying this their currencies and doing in-app purchases through other services other than just through their store, which is a good thing for everyone because it means that people can now have sales not just inside of Apple. Like if Apple doesn't want to do a sale, they could say, well, we want to do a sale during this time of year, so come to our store if you want to buy stuff.
Hmm.
It's a good thing. And the judge decided that they can't monopolize on that, of it being their store and their store only. You have to allow people to share, to have stores outside of them. Did you have another point that came up that came up out of this?
Well, just to further expound on yours, Apple was, then that's how come I kind of pre-emphasize this with, they're just two big companies trying to fight over money. Apple is trying to like fight for the little guy, and say like, sorry, not Apple. Epic was trying to fight for the little
Yeah.
guy and say that, Apple's evil, they're going to charge you more. We'll pass on the savings to you. So they're just, um, but yeah, another point is they pulled Fortnite off and they ruled that they don't Apple's not obligated to put it back on. So
Mhm.
although, I think it's safe to say both companies lost because Apple lost the ruling that going forward they have to allow people to kind of go against their terms and conditions that they had already agreed to, and they are allowed to actually undercut Apple for their own game, if that makes sense, like for the in-game
Mhm. To
transactions or
their own
currency.
stores and that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Apple lost on that front, but then Epic lost on the front of, hey, we don't have our game that's making us cash hand over fist on a mobile platform.
Mhm.
So that they're losing money. So they're both losing money because of each other now.
I'm I'm glad that that the judge, like, I know when this first kicked off, Apple, obviously took Fortnite off. Then they started taking off other games made in the engine that they use, that Epic uses.
Yeah.
And a judge said you can't do that. You cannot punish the people who are using that engine. So they had to go back, and I'm glad that it's still that way, that like you don't punish the people who are using that. They just use the engine. But if you want to take that game off because they broke your terms of service and they obviously sued you, um, yeah, you could keep them off your thing, and you guys can deal with that and settle this on your own terms, whether or not that game comes to the servers.
Hmm.
I did hear that Epic still has to pay that money they were refusing to pay,
Yep.
and I do believe they have to pay partial or all of Apple's legal fees over
Yep.
this whole fiasco.
That is
So
correct.
they're out even more money. So it looks like it will take them even longer to start making money on the store. If you didn't know, they were expecting to make money by, I think, 2024, 2025 if they won this lawsuit. Since they didn't, people are expecting them not to make money till 2027 or much later now,
Hmm.
because they're losing a lot. Because, as we know, Epic has their store on PC, and you can download lots of free games from them every month or sometimes every week. A new game comes up for free
It's
that
every
they're
week.
paying for.
Yeah.
And you'd be stupid not to get them, even if you don't support them really. Get the game because Epic's already paid for it. Why not? So like they're losing a lot of money on it, and they're not expected to make a lot of money until like quite a few years from now. So it sucks for them. I think there might be a few other things, but those were kind of the big things that popped into uh, the ethos for me over this whole fiasco. I
Yeah.
don't know if there was another one that
Um,
popped up if you wanted to mention, but if not, we could go on.
yeah, that no, I think that about covers it. I think we can go on.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So we touched on that and that and that. We talk briefly here. This is something that comes up every now and then when it comes to rights issues. And it's come up again for Marvel and Disney. So this is something that came up a few years ago with Jack Kirby, I believe. I don't remember what characters he created, but basically, uh, sorry, Marvel has filed lawsuits against the heirs of Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Gene Colan, and others in an effort to avoid losing copyright control over the iconic characters, including like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and a whole bunch of others, of course. Now, this does not mean that you will not see a new Spider-Man movie. It does not mean there will not be a new Captain America movie or video game, right? This is just rights as to who owns the characters or how much of the characters they own, I believe. Now, I mentioned Jack Kirby, that there was a thing with him a few years ago, or his estate, I believe, a few years ago with this. And this doesn't mean it's going to set a precedent, but Disney had won the the issue with that, but Jack Kirby's estate went to the Supreme Court and was like, no, you need to look at this again, please. But based on what Disney was saying, is Disney was saying to them in court, which was, these people who created the characters were employed by Marvel to make these characters. They got paid to make them, and everything they made is now owned by the company, which makes sense. Yes, and that's kind of what I believe won it for them, because the people were paid an hour or were paid however much money to create the characters. Now I know that after Jack Kirby's estate went to the Supreme Court, Disney/Marvel went to them and they just settled out of court for it. But I believe that Disney still owns all or most of it. I don't know if they still if the Kirby estate gets royalties at all, but I know it was settled out of court. I don't know the exact ending of that, but that's more than likely what's going to happen here. Is they'll probably try to fight it in court, and Disney will, unfortunately, I think they'll probably win, but that, or they'll settle out of court again. But it doesn't mean that these things are going out. It just means there may be a delay on new stuff coming out for them, possibly. I believe everything in the works right now is still going through, but I could be wrong. So I don't see them like holding the Spider-Man movies hostage until this is dealt with. That would be dumb. But it is a thing. Like this sort of stuff happened with Superman years ago, and I guess that was a little different. But the two creators of Superman, sorry, talking about who owns the rights to him, along with DC, right? And they all settled. I want to say they settled out of court about that. But yeah, this stuff happens all the time. Every rights can only be held for so long before you have to like re-up the rights, and by then, like 50 years or however many years it is, someone else can end up with the rights or start taking over maybe have taken over the company, right? Or if the company changes hands. This stuff happens all the time. What do you have? I'm sure I've
Um,
missed a lot, or what are your thoughts?
I I think the opposite. I don't think you missed a lot. I think you covered everything. So there's not
Oh,
really
sorry, I kind of
no,
like
you're
took over.
fine. I don't think there's really much for me to add that you already haven't said. I will say kind of my own perspective though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disney doing this is nothing new, as you said. Like, look what they're doing for Mickey Mouse. He was supposed to be in public domain several times over, but they keep changing the laws to kind of keep him from becoming part of the public domain because
I
he's
forgot
so
about
old.
that.
So this is not something. This is something that you can expect out of Disney to do. Like this is not like this particularly like for these characters is new, but in general, the news is sorry, not the news. The this is like not something that's like out of form for
Mm,
Disney to do because they just like to sue people and make sure that their properties are their properties. Even if they're supposed to become the public properties, they
mm.
still want them to be, because otherwise, if they're part of the public domain, I could use Mickey Mouse. You could use Mickey Mouse, but because he's such an old character, he should have been in the public domain, but they keep changing the laws. So yeah, this is not something new. That's all I was gonna say, honestly.
Yeah, the copyright law and other things like that can be very sticky, and you throw Disney in there, and you become even stickier, as we as it seems. But yeah, it just means maybe some of the stuff might get delayed a little that hasn't been started yet, but it'll all work out in the end. People will get money and such, so you know how it is. I've heard like people online going, "Oh no, this means no more Spider-Man movies." It's not what
No,
it means. It just
no.
means that they're trying to figure out who owns what or who owns what aspects of the characters. And then when they do the new characters, or, let's just say that one of the people that the people who own Spider-Man, like Stan Lee's estate, go, well, when Spider-Man was created, he was using the he was actually using like it was actually real webbing. So they could say, well, we own that part of Spider-Man. So in the new movies, they could go, well, our new Spider-Man uses cartridges, like in the 90s cartoon, and go, well, now we don't have to pay you for that part of Spider-Man.
Yep.
It could be something as dumb as that. It's them trying to figure out who owns what part of the heroes, essentially, in the end. I think it's kind of what happened with Superman, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's really all it means. Uh, it'll get sorted out, people will get money, and things will continue as they are, pretty much.
So I think
I'll get into a big stretch.
we have one last bit of news, and then I guess we'll wrap things up. So
Yeah.
basically, remember last week you were asking me about for my game collection if I'm the sort of person that like
Yes.
you know puts it into a little baggie and get it marked and never being able to open or play it again, or if I just play the games. I told you I definitely
Like
play all my
if
games.
you slabbed your games.
Yeah, that's it, the slab. I forgot what it was called. So apparently, they did that again not too long ago for the very original Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the Sega Genesis. And
Made by that tiny indie companies. Tiny indie company, Sega.
yeah, and it's a 9.4 out of 10, which is a grade A apparently, in terms of the scale here. And the final sale price was $430,000. Sorry, $430,500. And that's
Yep.
an all-time record for a Genesis game.
Now, do
So
you know what happened about a month and a half ago with a certain Super Mario 64?
so I did hear that they did the more or less the same thing. Not I'm not sure what the price was, but I
1.5 million.
yeah, that doesn't really shock me honestly.
Now,
Like
do you want to know why I specifically posted this article up here?
sure.
So, not specifically Golden Auctions, it would be WADA and, oh no, is it WADA and Golden? Sorry. Yes, I do believe so. But yes, they're owned by the same company. So isn't it weird that a grading company and an auction house are owned by the same company?
Yeah.
Now, a lot on this article, I posted a YouTube video, which is I'm actually going to open it, but it's called "Exposing Fraud and Deception in the Retro Video Game Market." Over the last 2 years is when WADA, so beginning of the pandemic, WADA got into video game grading and selling games in the auction house. Took them 2 years to what I believe artificially increase the price of a lot of these games and make people think they're rarer than they actually are. As you know, you get a slabbed game, and you can more likely sell it for more than what it normally goes for. That's because it's usually like sealed in box. It's been graded to be this is you know what the grading is, with the nicks or scratches on it, right? And that's a way to preserve the value of a game. But I do believe a few years ago, 3, 4 years ago, Super Mario 64 graded at that quality did not go for that. It might have been a few $1,000s. And now it's 1.5 million. Now, I do think that everyone who's interested in this topic should check out the video. Sorry, should check out this guy's video, exposing fraud and deception in the retro video game market. He goes through what's been going over the last few years with it, but the other thing that's interesting is just this last week or two, another Super Mario 64 of the exact same grading went up for sale. Guess how much it sold for?
So if the first one sold for 1.5 million, this one, let's say 2 million.
Oh, no.
More or less. A
Less.
less. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this now.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Uh,
I'll give you just one more. You could just say,
two
however
thousand
many.
dollars.
God, oh my God, that would just kill it if it went for that much. No, it went for just over. It's somewhere in between $800,000 and $900,000. Now that's still a lot, but that's 50-60% of what the cost of the last one it dropped by.
Hmm.
Now, apparently there's another one, same grading, going up for sale in about another month. It's probably going to drop by 50% again. Now, I'm basing this on about a year ago, Atari Spider-Man game went up for sale through WADA. It had a really high grading. It sold for, I want to say, I don't have the numbers with me, about 9 to 10,000.
That's
Then a
not bad.
month or two later, another one went up on sale, sold for 50% less. Then another one went up for sale, went for 50% less, and just kept dropping, and the market tanked.
I think that makes sense. Like not just for this specifically, but for anything, like for demand and supply. Like
Yeah, well, that's one of the issues. Sorry, you go on. I'll bring this up after.
yeah, I was just gonna say like for demand and supply, like the first one's gonna go for a lot, and then oh, the second one's up. Oh, so it wasn't the first one wasn't that rare. Oh, the third one. Oh,
Hmm.
the first and
Hmm.
second weren't that rare. So people are willing to pay less and less
So,
because they have the expectation that okay, it's a lot more common than I thought. I shouldn't be
mm,
spending as much.
so one of the issues with WADA is, I believe in comic books grading, you release population numbers of what was released and in what condition and what grading they get, so that people know how much of what is in the wild. WADA does not release population numbers of this stuff. So when these games come out, people go, this might be the only one. Now, Super Mario 64 is not a rare game. It sold millions and millions and millions of copies. It being sealed is not that rare. Even at a high grade, it's not super rare. It can be, but I don't think it is, especially with the volume of how many copies of this sold. And because they're not releasing numbers of how many were released or how many were graded through them, people don't know how many are there. So people just buying them up thinking it might be the only one out there of that value.
Hmm.
And it causes really bad fluctuations. Like there's a reason why, Spider, like the first issue with Spider-Man in it goes for that much, because it's really old and people know there's roughly this many out there in the market. So they can fluctuate what the value of it goes for, right? But right now, what they're doing with the video game market, at least with WADA, they're not releasing numbers. No one has any idea how many of these games come out at what grading. So the market cannot fluctuate to what demand it's supposed to be at. And it's caused these issues. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see another Sonic the Hedgehog pop up in 2 months and it sell for half this price, and just see the drop, because this is what has happened for a lot of these. It's it's really dumb, but I really think, like, even if you're not into the into the graded video game market, I do believe checking out that video, we'll have it linked in the description, but checking out that video, because I think it's worth checking out and just seeing what's kind of been happening. I do believe that the guys who are doing this were also doing this to the coin market back in the 80s and the sport card trading market in the 90s. I could be wrong. Some of these guys have had their hand in that market as well, and they crashed those markets as well, or almost crashed them. Like, it's not the first time they've done this, and they'll continue to do it. Like, they just saw video games as a thing. If you want to check out a podcast that checks up on this and has been up, sorry, let me get my brain sorted out here. The CU podcast with, um, check out their podcast. They do updates on this every time something like this comes out, because they've been following it for years, and they have a good view on what's been going on, and they're the ones that actually I kind of follow when I've been trying to get updated on the retro video game market. I don't buy into it, but I like knowing what's happening with it. But you should check out the CU podcast if you want a little bit more information and people who've been following it. You?
Um, Again, not really much I had. You kind of did all the work for me today, Chris. You kind of said everything
Oh,
that
really?
there was to be said, including what I was going to say, more or less. So I'm not going to repeat what you just said for the most part. But yeah, I guess my little personal take on it though is I don't even I've never even sold my games used at a GameStop or anything like that. So like I don't agree with like, you know, like I realize these are like sealed copies, but what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say is I'm not the sort of person that like, I'm not going to spend an exorbitant amount of money on this stuff. Like I understand there's people who have like $1.5 million to blow in a game. I don't. Like you can get a lot of stuff with that money, and especially, you know,
A lot of
the
stuff, eh?
yeah, a lot of stuff. And these people who have the money
Wink,
to
wink.
burn, again, the price is going to go down and down. This is not the only Sonic. This is not the only Mario 64, right? So
Yeah,
they have more money that they know what to do with, so they're kind of just wasting on that, and
yeah. Yeah.
it's really just, again, I don't have enough information to say if it's a scam or not. I don't want to say it is just because you're saying it is. Like I want to be well informed, but
Yeah.
it seems like a really bad idea just for an average person, even if you have that much money to waste in this sort of market, right?
Mm.
Like
Like I use scam in a big term because that's the way I feel about it. But scam may not be the right word, but to me, there definitely feels like there is manipulation going on to inflate the prices. And the people who are spending money on these, who obviously have the money, are people part of the speculative market who are buying these going, well, these are going to increase the price, right? So, they're using them as future investments. And some of the big names we've seen come up have not don't seem to pan out, but we'll see if they're young enough. Maybe it'll pay off for them in the long run. And I mean, really long run. Like, yes, the price of some of these games may increase to that at some point in the future, but that future would have been a long time from now, I believe. And so, as these games actually become a lot rarer to find,
mhm.
like the N64 is what 20 years old. There's still a great deal of games out there that are still sealed in good condition. Like
It's like
people are still finding sealed boxes of Super Nintendo games. So like it's not that rare for someone to go through an old warehouse and go, "What's that up there?" and bring it down and find a bunch of sealed games.
mhm.
It's happened a lot of times, and there's obviously insane collectors out there that when the games came out would know someone or go to a wholesale and go and just buy that box and hang on to them, right? Just for the sake of either preservation or sell them off in the future when they're worth a little bit more. It happens, but this inflation of the retro game sealed market is is insane. And the sealed market is different from the actual retro gaming market. It does not reflect you going down to your local game shop and saying, I want that N64 game. It doesn't mean that they'll have like a sealed N64 like Mario and him going, well, it's not sealed, but I saw it sell for 1.5 million. So an unsealed copy goes for 1 million. No, that's not what it means. It may inflate some prices of games, but you probably won't see that much of a change in the unsealed open box copies of games you more likely want to go play.
So you're essentially saying it's an artificial
I do believe
price
it is.
hike.
The increase over the last 2 years has been insane.
Hmm.
It does not make sense for these games to be going for that much in a 2 year span.
Yeah.
And not to mention the people who started up Wada and that recently sold it all to a different investor right after the Mario game sold, I believe. So, I wonder. Right? It seems it seems very suspect
Yeah, it
to me,
does. It does.
and it seems suspect to a lot of people. So, but make your own judgments, everyone. Don't dive in without being well informed. there are other resources out there to know what's going on in the industry. So go use them. There's some great podcasts out there that talk about this and have been talking about it for years. And some people that made some good YouTube videos that can go into this, whether it's on the this might be a scam aspect or into the this is a documentation of what exactly has been going on. Just be well informed before you dive in.
Hmm.
Don't spend money you don't have and dive into the speculative market just to be out what could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could buy a house for that. Invest in a house. A house is a better investment. At least it should be. Anyway.
I think that's about it. I think that's all we have to cover for today, Chris, right?
Oh, is that it? Is that everything?
I
Did
believe
we?
so.
Oh man, I didn't think we some of the stuff that I didn't think we touched on. We kind of rolled into other stuff, and I didn't realize.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I want to bring up one last from last week that I haven't checked out the trailer, but just to get your quick opinion of it before we end. Marvel's Hawkeye.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
What is it? Is it a movie or a TV
It's
series?
a Disney
First off.
Plus. It's a Disney Plus show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Is it the same? I assume same actor.
of course. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Maybe he's not doing the character anymore. They could be the alternate universe of Hawkeye, right? So that's what I was asking. Interesting. How does it look? Because I don't do a lot of Marvel stuff. So,
I liked it because you have to remember Hawkeye is like just a normal guy. He's like the best bow user in the world pretty much, but aside from that, he has no superpowers. He's just a normal guy aside from that. So they had to really, more so than even uh what's it called? Hawkeye, not Hawkeye, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They have to
oh, well,
try even harder because there's only one of them this time, and even those two are, you could argue, have more quote unquote superpowers than Hawkeye, right?
isn't Winter Soldier enhanced? Like with
Yeah, he has his,
super
he
a
does have the,
version of the super soldier
correct,
serum?
correct.
Yeah.
He does. Um, but Falcon is just another guy. He's just like a military guy who has that high tech gadgetry. But even that is what I'm saying. Even that high tech gadgetry is more advanced than the bow and arrow.
Hmm. But
So
he's got some cool arrows in the comics that he has some cool tech he works into them.
yeah,
Uh,
he does. But kind of to go back to your question, how's the trailer? It looked pretty good. It's kind of like this whole series takes place during Christmas, so I think they're releasing it towards Christmas.
hmm,
And yeah, basically,
yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the character Kate Bishop before, which is basically Hawkeye's
Yes.
successor, and I think that's who that is. I'm not sure. Maybe like
The younger girl?
yeah, because I think the rumors were that Hawkeye was going to train his daughter, who was also in the trailer, who was also in the Avengers movie to
Hmm.
be the next Hawkeye. But apparently, there's a new girl he never met before who's also extremely good, like almost as good as him with bow and arrow. And apparently, I don't know, maybe it's Kate Bishop, maybe it's not.
Well,
I
they never
have no
said her
idea.
name in the trailer. I have it on
Uh
mute now, so I'm just scrolling
oh,
through it.
I don't think they said her name in the trailer. It's been a
Hmm.
couple of weeks since I saw it, so
Interesting. It's hopefully it's good. I was thinking maybe it was an origin story at first. Thinking it was weird that they would go to an origin story after they've done the entire MCU movies with him in it, right?
mhm.
But uh, it looked fairly high budget. I think a lot of Disney stuff does. So I hope it's looks good. The effects look cool in that, and should be a good watch for everyone. You'll have to update me if you or sorry, you'll have to update me on that if it's good.
Yeah, I'll
I
let you
don't
know.
think I'll watch it, but I like to hear people's opinions and whether or not it's good.
And with that, I think we should probably wrap things up again. I think we went a little over time again.
Where are we at?
Almost the
Oh, it's
same
fine.
as the first episode. Almost, not quite.
Well, okay, well, they can't be helped if we have a lot that we want to say or talk about. And if some news articles are a bit bigger than others, because we do kind of want to shoot for like what hour and a half, but if we keep averaging two, would you be angry at that?
Not really.
Yeah, as long as it's not like a 3, but
3, I
we'll
think,
see.
would be a little too much for people,
I
honestly.
think so. I think so. But if that's it, where can people find you over the next week, Sean?
On my Twitch, which is gonna be twitch.tv/ZorbZex. Well, Zorb underscore Zex, ZORB underscore ZEX. That's where I'll be. How about you, Chris?
And I've got Twitch. I don't use it too often because of work and such, and I may be dead tired on my days off. But sometimes I'll be streaming on Prince_Kaboom on Twitch, and on Twitter I'm at C Shabang. It's CSCHABANG. I post or like and respond to tweets about for SH figure arts and toys, Godzilla stuff, of course, some Sentai stuff, but I'll sometimes post stupid pictures that I create with my toys. That's kind of what it's there for, and I don't really do hot takes on things. I just like to use it as another chill excuse to share the things I love.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to check that out, you can. I don't have YouTube up yet, maybe in the future. Uh, and this podcast in the future will probably be uploaded onto YouTube as well, but not yet. We're still working on that. We'll see in a couple episodes. It may start to do that. But thanks for checking us out, guys. Goodbye.
See you guys next week.